At the party, Marcus's close friend loudly asked me, "You're pregnant with your child. What are you going to do?" Marcus placed the peeled shrimp on my plate and spoke softly, "Aside from marriage, I'll give her everything she deserves. But she and the child are never to appear before Grace. The company's research and development relies solely on Grace. If discovers I've betrayed her, she'll definitely leave me. Both the company and I cannot afford to lose Grace." After saying this, he signed that he would always love me. But he didn't notice my reddened eyes. He didn't know I had come today to surprise him, to tell him my hearing was restored. But I never imagined he would also give me a surprise. I lost my hearing and gave up my dreams for him. Yet, all I got in return was betrayal. He knew me, though. If I found out he cheated on me, I would definitely leave him. Never looking back. Hearing slightly panicked voice, the entire private room suddenly fell silent. Everyone stared at me in horror. When I spat out a bloody piece of shrimp, tears streaming down my face, everyone, including Marcus, collectively sighed in relief. Thank goodness the wife is deaf, otherwise, it would have been a big problem. She'd better be deaf for life so Marcus can manipulate her as he pleases. What if she could hear? She's just a doormat. Marcus just needs to throw her a few crumbs, and she'll obey. A group of people in the private room were humiliating and cursing me. But my Marcus, the man I loved deeply, merely pretended to tenderly examine the wound in my mouth. He didn't refute them, nor did he even flinch. After confirming I was all right, Marcus sighed in relief and signed to me, "I'll take you to the hospital first. Don't eat so fast next time. If you like shrimp, I'll peel it for you every day." If I hadn't been able to hear anything before, I would have been moved to tears by Marcus's performance just now. But now, I felt a chill run through me, utterly speechless with shock. Marcus was about to get up, pack my things, and take me away, but his friend stopped him. "Marcus, wait a bit longer. We have some entertainment planned for you tonight. Nothing is more important than taking Grace to the hospital. You all have fun. Don't leave. You're the guest of honor tonight." Marcus ignored them completely. He draped my jacket over me, took my bag, and led me out. I was like a thoughtless puppet, letting him lead me around. But as he opened the private room door, Marcus stopped short. Chloe, in a red dress, stood at the entrance, blocking our way. Seeing the meticulously dressed Chloe, Marcus's face changed. He blocked my view and sternly demanded, "Didn't I warn you not to appear before Grace? What are you doing?" Chloe glanced at me, then meekly replied to Marcus, "Traditionally, a mistress entering the household would have to acknowledge the legitimate wife. Now that I'm pregnant, I'm not asking for any official recognition, just for you, Grace, to share a drink with me." The private room fell silent, everyone looking like they were watching a show. Marcus then understood that this was the entertainment they had mentioned earlier. Chloe intended to put on a show of domestic harmony for him in front of his friends. "Grace hasn't touched alcohol in 3 years. She won't drink your wine." Marcus instinctively tried to refuse. To get the company listed early, I had worked day and night, with an irregular schedule and erratic meals, leading to several hospitalizations for liver and stomach ailments within a few years. The doctors had strictly warned me not to drink alcohol. For the past few years, whenever Marcus saw someone offer me a drink, he would always firmly refuse on my behalf. But this time, Marcus hesitated. He turned to me and signed, "Grace, Chloe is my assistant. She really admires everything you did to save me back then. She wants to propose a toast to you. Please have a drink with her." Marcus's words were like dull knives repeatedly stabbing my heart, like countless insects gnawing at my body. I felt as if I had fallen into a bottomless abyss, unable to breathe. This whole spectacle, though seemingly for Marcus, was actually prepared for me. Marcus was the main character, Chloe the supporting character. I was the clown. I looked into Marcus's eyes, a sliver of hope lingering, and forced myself to ask, "Do you really want me to drink it?" Marcus hesitated for a moment, then nodded. I laughed. So, when pain reaches its peak, one truly can laugh. He knew this was a humiliation. He also knew my body couldn't handle alcohol. He knew even more that only he could trick me into drinking this. Yet, he still agreed. 6 years ago, I gave up my dreams to help him start his business. 3 years ago, in a car accident, I lost my hearing to save him. But it wasn't until today that I realized what kind of person I had truly loved. Under everyone's gaze, I took the wine glass Chloe offered with both hands. "Marcus, this is the toast Chloe prepared for you, and it's also my farewell drink to you. After this drink, there will be no more affection between us." Amidst the cheers of the crowd, I drained the wine glass. This group of friends, intricately connected to Marcus's company, all paid their respects to him. I'll take you to the hospital. The self-satisfied Marcus, amidst waves of compliments, finally remembered I had just been injured. But his usual concern now made me utterly disgusted. I pulled my hand away from his and calmly said, "You stay here and have some more fun with them. I'll go to the hospital by myself. Don't let me ruin your fun." With that, ignoring the startled Marcus, I left the private room alone. Marcus tried to follow me out, but Chloe stopped him, pulling him back to his seat, where, amidst his friends' boisterous laughter, they drank a celebratory drink together. Walking out of the hotel, tears blurred my vision uncontrollably. Picking up my phone, I made a call to Professor. "Professor, my hearing is restored, and I want to join Project." "That's wonderful. But are you sure? Once you join Project, you won't be allowed to contact family for at least 5 years. Are you willing to leave Marcus?" I answered without hesitation, "Professor, I'm getting a divorce." After a moment of silence, Professor spoke, "All right. In 7 days, I'll send someone to pick you up." I looked back at the brightly lit hotel and pleaded, "Professor, can it be sooner?" "All right, tomorrow night at 8 p.m., someone will be there on time to pick you up. You've wasted your talent for too many years. It's time to get back in shape quickly. Your talent belongs among the stars, not in the kitchen." Back home, I took 2 pills, and under the combined effects of alcohol and medication, I quickly grew drowsy. Half asleep and half awake, Marcus walked in, talking on the phone. "Chloe, I'm very pleased with today's gift. If you're pleased, I'm happy. At least it'll get your friends to accept me. Even if it's just as a secondary partner, I'll be happy." Chloe's sweet talk blared out without any discretion. Marcus wasn't worried that I, being deaf, would hear. Listening to their flirting, an unprecedented wave of nausea washed over me, and I sat up abruptly, dry heaving. Seeing my reaction, Marcus anxiously came closer to check on me. But the vulgar flirting on the phone, combined with Chloe's perfume lingering on him, brought my nausea to its peak. I pushed Marcus away and rushed into the bathroom. Leaning over the toilet, I tried to vomit but couldn't, feeling nauseous and distressed. When I felt a little better and tried to get up, Marcus touched my shoulder, attempting to comfort me. But the moment he touched me, goosebumps broke out, and I felt even more nauseous. I instantly threw up. Now, my body was also repulsed by Marcus. I wanted to push him away, to get away from him, but Marcus, who was usually a germaphobe, embraced me without hesitation, frantically signing, "It's all my fault. I shouldn't have let you drink. Don't be afraid, I'll take you to the hospital." His hands moved so fast they seemed to blur, as if he wanted to make every word clear. 1 second he was flirting with another woman, now he was apologizing to me with deep affection. "Marcus, which of your words is true?" I pushed him away with force, keeping a distance between us. "I feel much better, a good night's sleep will fix it." It turned out that lying was so easy. I never used to lie to Marcus, but now, lies spilled out effortlessly. And there was no guilt at all. Marcus looked into my eyes, signing an apology. "I'm truly sorry. I've had so much going on lately, I couldn't even make time for you. I neglected your feelings, it's all my fault." With that, he hugged me tightly, so forcefully, as if to embed me deep in his embrace, seemingly believing that only then could I feel his love for me. Yet, it only made me see the hickey hidden beneath his clothes. Marcus helped me up, but I shook off his hand and walked back to the bedroom alone. Marcus froze. Since we married, I had never given him the cold shoulder, let alone shaken off his hand. By the time he reacted, I was already settled into bed. "Grace, you're angry with me, aren't you? You blame me for forcing you to drink, you blame me for not spending time with you, don't you? I apologize, please don't be angry, okay?" Watching this city-renowned powerful CEO act like a petulant child in front of me, I closed my eyes in pain. Seeing that I ignored him and didn't try to wake me up further, he instead breathed a sigh of relief. Marcus took out his phone and played a voice message. Chloe's voice filled the bedroom. "Is asleep? I've already changed in the next room. You promised me a reward, don't even think about going back on your word." Marcus chuckled softly, then quietly got up and left. Not long after, frantic sounds came from next door, and my tears finally burst forth. Chloe was in my house. Was this the first time? Or countless times? "Marcus, it's a real shame you're not an actor." The next morning, I woke up to a note from Marcus, but he was nowhere to be found. "My dear, tonight at 8 p.m. is the company's final IPO roadshow. Don't forget." Something came up unexpectedly, so I've already left. "I prepared a loving breakfast for you, remember to eat it. Love you." The breakfast was all my favorites, but there was an extra crab roe crystal dumpling. Marcus didn't eat crystal dumplings, and I was allergic to crab roe. It seemed Chloe only just left this morning. Of course, she should have stayed overnight. How else could she justify the elaborate scheme she put on last night? Wasn't this Chloe's intention all along? I received Professor message on my phone and clicked to view it. Ethan has already set off. Get ready, don't waste any time. I replied, okay, I'll be ready in advance. I casually tossed the note into the trash can and started packing my things. I could pack slowly, undisturbed. It would have been even better without the gifts Marcus sent from time to time. At 11 a.m., I received the sunflowers Marcus had ordered. They were my favorite flowers because the language of flowers says sunflowers symbolize loyal and passionate love. These were also the flowers Marcus used the day he proposed. That day was a Wednesday, and Marcus said that every Wednesday from then on would be our wedding anniversary. So, every Wednesday, I would receive his sunflowers. At 2 p.m., I received the ring Marcus had personally designed. It was his labor of love, taking him 3 months to create, one of a kind and unique. At 4 p.m., I received the evening gown Marcus had sent. Marcus had custom-made it especially for me for tonight's IPO event, perfectly matched with his suit. Marcus, however, didn't appear all day. Because he was with Chloe. I didn't need to ask where Marcus was, because Chloe would tell me on her social media post. At 11 a.m., Chloe received a bouquet of sunflowers. The caption read, "It's Wednesday, as always, sunflowers, as always." At 2 p.m., Chloe posted a close-up shot of her ring. A second, identical one to my unique ring appeared. At 4 p.m., Chloe posted a picture of sonogram results and the deed to a mansion. The caption read, "A gift from someone for their firstborn son." Of course, Marcus had never appeared on her social media post. However, she accidentally captured a man's hand, a ring, and a watch, all subtly displaying Marcus's identity to me. Marcus's past belonged to me, now he belonged to her. But I didn't care anymore. At 5 p.m., I changed into clothes from 6 years ago and placed my cherished books into a suitcase. At 6 p.m., I cut up all the photos and burned all my memories with Marcus. At 7 p.m., I placed the prepared divorce papers in the living room and got into the car Ethan picked me up in. As I arrived at the airport, Marcus, accompanied by Chloe, reached the IPO roadshow venue. A group immediately surrounded Marcus, flattering him. "Mr. Marcus, don't worry, this is just a formality. The share we agreed upon in advance will definitely be reserved for me. Mr. Marcus, you and Grace have supported each other for 6 years while building this company, and it's finally the season of harvest. It's truly inspiring. Now, we just need Grace to appear, and this roadshow will be a complete success." Hearing everyone's words, Chloe's face turned ugly, and she resentfully asked, "Mr. Marcus could have come alone. Why wait for a trophy wife?" The people around them instantly fell silent. Someone immediately criticized Chloe, "If you don't know, keep quiet. Grace's expertise is top-notch, both back home and internationally. She's the company's true value. Of course, Grace is a rare talent, and Mr. Marcus is a discerning patron. It's only with Mr. Marcus and Grace working as a perfect team that they are unbeatable. Right, Mr. Marcus, where is Grace? Why isn't she here yet?" Hearing someone ask, Marcus took out his phone to send me a message and saw a red notification dot in our chat history. I had already deleted him. Marcus was full of confusion and was about to call me. Then someone suddenly exclaimed, "Oh no, something terrible has happened. Check the trending topics." Marcus wasn't interested in trending topics. But then he heard the circulating guests mention my name. So he switched from his contact list and went to Twitter to check the trending topics. Welcome Starlight's new Grace. In the trending photo, I was smiling brightly, wearing the same dress from 6 years ago. It was the outfit I wore when he first approached Professor for advice on a technical issue. From that day on, I began to lose myself and gave up my dreams. I dedicated myself entirely to Marcus. Since I decided to let go of everything, I would start anew from the moment the mistake began. With years of marital bond, Marcus naturally knew me well. He knew that if I wanted to do something, I would always start from scratch. The dress might be old, but I was brand new. The photo was jarring. Coupled with the exclamation mark after the message he had just sent, a huge sense of unease welled up inside him. Didn't I hear that Mrs. Marcus was deaf? How could a national project allow a disabled person to participate? Maybe. Marcus is exceptionally capable. No matter how capable, she couldn't possibly participate in such a major project. Writing a proposal, maybe. What damn proposal? Didn't you see she's a commander? She must have recovered long ago. The discussions of those around him, every word, reached Marcus's ears. As a research company in the aerospace field, Marcus naturally knew the significance of project. A national project would never allow a disabled person. Marcus's throat tightened, his breathing became shallow, and he nervously dialed my number. "Sorry, the subscriber you dialed is powered off. Please try again later." The alert tone from his phone felt like the last straw that broke the camel's back. In just a few minutes, Marcus began to recall everything that happened yesterday. When had my hearing recovered? Was it yesterday, or even earlier? Fragmented memories flashed through his mind. The previous days were normal, except for yesterday, when I was drinking. I had asked a question. "Do you really want me to drink it?" And a series of unusual actions yesterday. The truth always hurts. The truth about his infidelity and about my hearing recovery were both painful. Then is Mrs. Marcus still coming to today's roadshow? Isn't Project a program where you can't see family for several years? Yes, that's right. Miss is at the airport now, reportedly taking an 8 p.m. direct flight to the southwest. Marcus looked up at the clock in the hall. 7:30, still enough time. Chloe, who saw through Marcus's intentions, quickly blocked his path. "Marcus, the IPO event is about to start. You can't go looking for her. We need someone to take charge." There wasn't a trace of hesitation on Marcus's resolute face. If the company didn't have me, this roadshow couldn't possibly succeed. And if the subsequent research results couldn't keep up, the company would quickly go bankrupt. Marcus shook off Chloe's hand and drove to the airport. Numerous media vehicles followed behind him. Mrs. Marcus, who was supposed to be at the event, was actually participating in Project's research. This was sure to be sensational news. With the media following, Marcus suppressed the urge to run a red light, instead angrily slamming the steering wheel. The corporation couldn't afford any scandals right now. By the time he reached the airport, the plane would take off in 15 minutes. As research personnel, we naturally wore distinctive emblems. The moment Marcus entered the lobby, he walked towards us. I was absorbed in reading my research documents. The commotion outside didn't affect me. Marcus's voice was strained, but he still called out my "nah." "Me. Grace." I looked in the direction of the voice and saw Marcus standing frozen, his face filled with shock. More than that, there was guilt on his face. Yes, I wasn't deaf, I had fully recovered. Marcus, being so intelligent, must have guessed why I was leaving, and why I was joining Project's research. I had expected a smooth journey to the base, but I never thought I'd have to see Marcus's repulsive face one last time before leaving. I gently closed my book and walked straight towards Marcus, who was being held back by Ethan outside the lounge. "You can hear?" Even though he already knew the answer, Marcus still signed, unwilling to give up. "Yes, I can hear." "Since when?" I scoffed and slowly began. "Does it really matter when I could hear?" Marcus turned his head away, not daring to look at me. "Did you find it amusing to discuss those things right in front of me? Did you feel a great sense of accomplishment treating me like a fool for so many years? I had intended to give you a surprise yesterday afternoon, but you ended up surprising me first." Many reporters were following Marcus, and the researchers who came to pick me up all looked at him. He paused, then began to argue. "My dear, listen to me, these are all misunderstandings. There are too many people here, let's talk at home. Don't make a scene." He tried to minimize the harm he had caused me with just a few words. Marcus was still as selfish as ever, always thinking only of himself. Now he knew what it meant to be ashamed, but where was his decency when he was having an affair? I raised the ID badge in front of me and slowly began. "Going back is impossible. I've already started my new job at the National Research. Let's part amicably, we can still be more dignified. My husband had an affair, and I was surprised by my own composure. Perhaps I should have made a huge fuss. I truly did love Marcus. Otherwise, I wouldn't have given up my dreams for him 6 years ago, nor lost my hearing to him 3 years ago. Luckily, my life wasn't just about him, nor was he indispensable. 6 years of my life, I just threw away on him." The announcement in the lobby began to play. "Ladies and gentlemen, attention please. Flight 3U6696 to Germany is now boarding. Please have all your luggage and boarding pass ready and proceed to gate 17. We wish you a pleasant journey. Thank you." After the first announcement, Ethan beside me began packing up his things, ready to take me to board. Marcus saw me and stepped forward to grab me, an anxious expression on his face. "Grace, you can't leave. What about our dreams if you go? The IPO event is about to start." I was wrong, I was truly wrong. Please forgive me, okay? I'll give you anything you want. If you hate Chloe, I'll send her away. She'll never appear before you again. I scoffed and disgustedly shook off Marcus's hand. Those are your dreams, not mine. My dreams are among the stars. Seeing me being harassed, Ethan also rushed forward to help me. With all the major media outlets present, Marcus couldn't afford to make a scene, so he reluctantly had to let me go. But I knew he would never give up easily. The corporation was a parasite clinging to me for survival. I didn't want to help him anymore, nor did I want to provide him with anything else. Project's mission wouldn't begin for another 10 days. If I hadn't insisted, Professor wouldn't have come to pick me up so soon. When my mother was alive, she used to say I was too cold-hearted. I couldn't tolerate even the smallest mistake from others. But that was fine. I only needed to be sad for a short while, and then I could let it go. I treated others with sincerity. Why should I suppress my emotions and forgive someone who hurt me? Marcus knew perfectly well that if he betrayed me, I would leave, yet he still chose to have an affair. Did he really think I loved him enough to tolerate any of his actions? I'm working for the country now. From now on. You'd bet. Or not bother me. After I uttered those warning words, I turned and left with the others. From bits and pieces of conversation, the major media outlets didn't fully understand what had happened. They only sensed that there might have been a breakdown in our marital relationship. After I left, Marcus stood rooted to the spot, unwilling to leave for a long time. His phone was ringing off the hook, but he didn't dare answer. Today's IPO event had completely failed. The moment I decided to join Project, Marcus's company could no longer go public. As stood there in a daze, he suddenly remembered a heart-shaped seashell I had given him years ago. That was when we went to Riverwood together. I had insisted on having barbecue that night. During my period, I would be a little difficult. I always made Marcus fulfill my various small requests. Grace, it's too late now. Let's go tomorrow. I was stubborn and set in my ways. I pouted angrily, insisting on going out to eat right away. Marcus, with no other choice, found me some warm clothes and we left the house. But before we even reached the barbecue joint, we were blocked and robbed by a few thugs. One of them, seeing my designer clothes, came over to try and snatch them. At that critical moment, Marcus stepped in front of me. One of the thugs accidentally stabbed him in the abdomen with a knife. Because of this incident, I made him a heart-shaped seashell pendant. If it hadn't been for me, he wouldn't have been lying in the hospital. In the future, if I ever truly refuse to forgive you, this seashell will be your get-out-of-jail-free card for forgiveness. No matter what, if I see it, I'll forgive you. Marcus took the necklace, carefully felt it, and said calmly, "Anything?" "Yes, anything." At that moment, Marcus didn't linger at the airport but immediately drove back home. The moment he walked in, he noticed the trash can was overflowing. I was a germaphobe and always took out all the trash before leaving. This was the first time Tea wasn't empty, so bent down and emptied out the contents of the trash can. Inside were all the photos of him and me from over the years, all cut into pieces by me. The most striking was our wedding photo. I was in a hurry, so I just cut it once down the middle, separating the two of us. Marcus's emotions were complex. He felt a knot in his stomach. After sighing deeply, he walked further inside. The divorce papers on the table were very obvious. I had deliberately placed them conspicuously for Marcus to notice. When saw them, he looked utterly disbelieving. Not because of the divorce papers themselves, but because of their contents. To avoid unnecessary trouble, I had left with nothing. I was certainly entitled to a share of our marital assets. But the thought of that money, earned with Marcus, made me sick. Money was something I could earn anytime I wanted. And I didn't need that much money at all. Before, when I was with Marcus, to save face for him, I let him be involved in everything. This had slowed down many projects. If I had completed them myself, his current achievements would only have taken me a year. I had always believed in give a man a fish, teach a man to fish, so I patiently taught him everything in my mind. But some people are ungrateful. Marcus clutched the divorce papers tightly in his hand, reading through them all with trembling hands. The edges of the paper were crumpled and white from his grip. Tears streamed down Marcus's face. But he quickly composed himself. The most important thing now was to find that necklace. Marcus searched everywhere, but there was no sign of the seashell. He began to recall earlier. After getting the necklace, when we got home, I put it on the study cabinet for him. Marcus searched and reminisced. As if remembering something, he knelt on the floor and saw the seashell necklace in the corner. It was covered in dust. I rarely entered Marcus's home office, so it wasn't as clean as other places. Everyone has their private space, and I thought that was normal. But this private space was where he had his affairs with other women. Marcus took out the seashell and washed it in the sink. But the embedded material was stained with dust and couldn't be washed off. Marcus frustratedly slammed the sink. He went to several jewelry cleaning stores before the seashell looked less terrible. Booking a flight for the next day, Marcus went back to pack a few clothes, preparing to go to the northwest to find me. My previous warnings, in his eyes, still seemed like something that could be appeased with a little coaxing. That evening, Marcus looked at the familiar surroundings of his home, his eyes dim. Ding dong. The doorbell rang. Marcus was overjoyed and quickly got up. Grace! You're back. He couldn't even finish the sentence. Marcus saw Chloe at the door, and his face immediately darkened. What are you doing here? Why did you revoke my position? Even though I'm pregnant, it's still early, I could still accompany you for a few more months. Chloe said this while trying to step inside, but blocked her. I told you, this company cannot function without Grace. You are never to appear before her. If you can't do that, then you should lose some things. At this point, Chloe also began to feel indignant. I can do what she does too. Why do you only have eyes for her, Marcus? I'm carrying your child. You took back the house, and now you've fired me. How are my son and I supposed to live? Chloe had intended to use the job matter to gauge his reaction. She hadn't expected Marcus to have this attitude. Marcus took back all of Chloe's things. What was left, then? Only the child in her womb. At this point, she also dropped the pretense and no longer hid it. Marcus, if you don't give me money, I'll expose all the dirty deeds you've done. You want to win Grace back? I'm telling you, it's impossible. If you dare treat me like this, then no one will have an easy time. Marcus looked at Chloe, the little secretary who used to be so affectionate in his arms, now turning on him like this for a bit of money. He found it ridiculous. He had actually fallen for such a person. No, he had cheated with such a person. When he was starting his business, I slept on the streets with him, and we ate instant ramen for half a year. We had gone through thick and thin together. Marcus worried Chloe would do something crazy, so he dragged her into the room, covering her mouth. He forcibly injected her with the sedative on the table. After instructing his assistant to take her to the private clinic, he left for Germany to find me. The moment the plane landed, I saw Professor and Ethan. Besides me, Professor's most valued student was Ethan. This person was someone I had always wanted to surpass during my college days. But I always fell just a little short. It seemed there was always a 0.1 point difference between us. My college entrance exam scores were 0.1 point lower. My GPA was always 0.1 point lower. My physical fitness test scores were also 0.1 point lower. My contact name for him was still 0.1. Long time no see, Grace. Ethan's voice pulled me back to reality. Long time no see. After a brief exchange of greetings, Professor and Ethan took me to a welcome party. There were many familiar faces, most of them Professor's students. All senior students who used to look after me. Relax this week, the project officially begins in 7 days. The dishes on the table were all my favorites, and I couldn't help but be surprised. Professor also saw my reaction. Grace, these are all your favorites, aren't they? I thought that Ethan kid was lying to us. That's right, Grace. We thought Ethan just wanted to eat them himself and was lying about you liking them. A senior student next to me suddenly spoke. Others also joined in the teasing. Ethan spoke, looking a little embarrassed. You senior students don't know what our junior student likes to eat, but you're teasing me instead. Ethan, you're still pretending. It was another round of boisterous chatter, like being back in college. Although I also wondered why Ethan knew my preferences. After all, Marcus, after all these years, never truly understood what I liked. After the welcome party, Ethan took me on a tour of the research institute. After explaining some of project's research content, he suddenly asked, "Aren't you married? You won't be able to return for 5 years if you join this project. Will your husband agree?" Seeing my silence, Ethan quickly tried to explain. "I wasn't intentionally prying into your private life, I was just curious." "Oh no, I'm not curious, I'm just concerned about you, please don't misunderstand." Watching stammer, I couldn't help but laugh. The recent unpleasantness vanished completely. After taking a deep breath, I said calmly, "He cheated on me, and the mistress is also pregnant. I'm going to divorce him." Ethan froze at my words, looking at me with a pained expression. I spoke again, feigning nonchalance. "It's nothing, just my husband cheated on me. Why are you looking so sad?" The moment sadness left my lips, Ethan pulled me into his arms. I was about to pull away, but then I heard his gentle voice. "Grace, you must feel so wronged, and so tired after all these years. Cry if you need to. I'm here with you. Cry? Since my mother passed away, I rarely cried. The family business needed me to uphold it, and for Marcus, I had to be strong. On countless nights when I felt like breaking down, I always dealt with my emotions alone. I didn't want to bother Marcus, he was already so busy with work. I didn't want to leave the comfort of his strong arms. So, giving in, I clung to Ethan and started to cry. I had given so much, only for it to end this way. Ethan gently patted my back, comforting me silently, and when my tears finally subsided, he walked me back to my room. I rarely let my emotions show, but I had to admit, after a good cry, I felt surprisingly better. The next morning, Professor came to see me, bringing some fruit and looking incredibly contrite. Ethan must have told Professor about my divorce. I glared disapprovingly at Ethan, who was trailing behind Professor. He, in turn, avoided my gaze, clearly feeling guilty. It's all my fault. If only I had seen how unreliable Marcus was back then, I wouldn't have brought you two together. Then you wouldn't have endured all this hurt and hardship for so many years. Seeing Davies blame himself, I took his hand and reassured him, Professor, how can you blame yourself? He genuinely loved me back then. And I genuinely loved him, but my love could withstand the test of time, his just couldn't. As long as I have a clear conscience, that's enough. Professor, suppressing a pang of sadness, comforted me. It's good that you can be so philosophical about it. Our future is vast and limitless. Our country needs you now. Personal feelings are insignificant in comparison. Professor was right. Compared to my feelings for Marcus, I had more important things to do. Besides him, I still had many people who cared about me. I shouldn't let them see me acting like a petulant child, troubled by love. Let bygones be bygones. Alright, Professor, my situation is easily handled, no need to worry. You should focus on finding ways to secure more funding, so we don't run out of money mid-experiment, I said, joking around. Grace, has Ethan been a bad influence on you? You're teasing Professor now too. The three of us exchanged glances and burst into laughter. Marcus had, after much searching, discovered my whereabouts. Ethan and I were out gathering materials, preparing for project to begin in 3 days, when we ran into Marcus. It had only been a few days since we last saw each other, but Marcus's entire demeanor had changed significantly. He looked disheveled, with a scruffy beard and deep dark circles under his eyes. I instinctively wanted to grab Ethan and leave him immediately, but pulled out the seashell pendant, his voice trembling. Grace, you promised me. I sighed and looked at Ethan. I have something I need to handle. You go back first. I'll wait nearby. Call me if you need anything. After a moment of hesitation, I agreed and walked directly towards Marcus. Some things indeed needed to be resolved properly. Marcus had a fawning expression, his voice full of humility. Grace, I don't want a divorce. Do you still remember this? You said you'd forgive me. If you don't like Chloe, I'll send her away. Wife, please come back. I can't live without you. That time before, I was foolish. We can hold another banquet, tell everyone that you're the only one I love. I spoke with a calm expression, absolutely not. I couldn't handle it if another mistress came to propose a toast to me. My sarcasm didn't deter Marcus's confidence in the slightest. He then, unprompted, took out the ring I had left at home. Grace, this is the only ring I specially designed for you. No matter how angry you are, you shouldn't have left it at home. His words made me laugh despite myself. Marcus, did you know? I have Chloe's contact information. You say this is unique, but I saw Chloe had one too. You even bought her a house. Tell me, how cheap does that make your unique claim? Marcus was momentarily speechless, then he dropped to his knees before me. Grace, I truly made a mistake. I promise I'll never do it again. Please, for the sake of the seashell pendant, forgive me just this once. I picked up the seashell pendant from Marcus's hand. I certainly remembered the promise made back then. Seeing the embedded piece on the shell had turned yellow, it proved that he hadn't cherished it at all. After examining it closely, I tossed the seashell pendant into the trash can right in front of him. Marcus, we're adults. Can you please stop being so childish? Some promises only count when there's love. Do you think it's possible to board a TR line with an expired ticket? Grace, I truly understand my mistake. You promised you'd forgive me, you can't go back on your word. I love you, Grace. Watching Neil on the ground, I felt absolutely nothing. 7 years ago, he also proposed to me on his knees, with tears in his eyes. 3 years ago, he pleaded with me, promising I would never be hurt. Yet, he still got entangled with Chloe, constantly hurting me. Every sweet word he once spoke now made me sick to my stomach. You may love me, but I don't love you anymore. Sign the divorce papers soon. If you don't, it will just make the legal process a bit more complicated. Marcus, unwilling to give up, grabbed my hand and spoke again. Why? Grace, how can you just throw away so many years of our relationship? How can you be so heartless? Watching's heartbroken expression, I only found it utterly hypocritical. Was it my choice to throw it away, Marcus? This is all your fault. What right do you have to blame me? I'm so sick of you. If you're bold enough to do something, why can't you face the consequences? After all I sacrificed for you, how did you treat me? How dare you ask me to forgive you? Ethan saw Marcus desperately holding on to me and stepped forward. I expected him to be reasonable, but to my surprise, he simply kicked Marcus away. What's there to discuss with a scumbag like him? Let's go. After that day, I stopped checking for any news about Marcus. I heard that Ethan was using his connections back home to make things difficult for him. Marcus was incredibly busy, overwhelmed. The day before project began, I saw a trending topic. Marcus had actually kicked Chloe, causing her to miscarry, and was subsequently sentenced to prison. But none of this concerned me. What I needed to do now was to serve the people wholeheartedly and dedicate myself to the country. Having been away from systematic scientific research for many years, I found myself a little unaccustomed to it at first. To quick regain my stride, I embarked on a demanding but fulfilling lifestyle. Lectures, tutorials, experiments, papers, as these things surrounded me, I soaked it all in like a parched sponge, constantly absorbing knowledge. As I diligently immersed myself in the ocean of knowledge, all past unhappiness vanished from my mind. Every day was exhausting, every moment brought confusing new knowledge, yet I felt truly happy and content. For the first time, I clearly understood that happiness wasn't solely found in love. Doing what I loved truly made me feel comfortable and happy from the bottom of my heart. I still remember that morning when my alarm clock suddenly rang. A sharp, urgent sound, echoing with my heartbeat, one pulse, two, piercing my eardrums. I listened to it cycle for a full minute. In that moment, I truly realized that I had recovered. I ran into the woods, listening to the morning birdsong, the chirping of crickets at night, listening to Professor's lectures, and even to him scolding us when he was frustrated. After marrying Marcus, I had grown to dislike socializing. After the car accident 3 years ago, I would only hide at home. Back then, I often looked at myself in the mirror, hoping it was all just a dream. Sometimes I would even deliberately smash a teacup, just to see if I could hear anything. After the disappointment, I would clean it up, pretending nothing had happened. But now, Grace, want to grab lunch together? I have a question I'd like to ask you. Sounds good. I became increasingly certain that this was the happiest time I'd had in 7 years. 5 years passed quickly. During this time, I helped the national research overcome many challenges. Ethan and I also progressed to a boyfriend-girlfriend relationship. We had so many shared interests. I had thought that after everything with Marcus, I wouldn't fall in love again. But our daily interactions made me fall for him. He told me he had waited for me for 11 years. I liked to use my SE Condery account to post food videos, mostly as a way to de-stress. For 11 years, his cat avatar had been my top fan. No wonder he knew what I liked. Some people express their love passionately, while others love you silently. I didn't want him to wait any longer. Perhaps fate didn't bring us together at the very beginning, but our happiness would surely come eventually. After Starlight concluded, I returned back home. I encountered Marcus again in my favorite coastal town. He was there, buying the candied apples I loved most. Ever since he was imprisoned for assault, the Gu family business had been completely dismantled and divided among other partners. After his release from prison, all he wanted was to wait until my research was finished and tell me he was sorry. When and I, arm in arm, saw him, I saw tears welling up in his eyes. Grace, would you like a candied apple? It's on me. I smiled, feeling a sense of release. No thanks, my boyfriend gets jealous. The words Marcus was about to say caught in his throat. He slowly uttered a single sentence. I wish you happiness. With, I knew I would definitely be happy. In a corner I couldn't see, Marcus held a seashell pendant, silently weeping. Thank you for watching today's story. If you enjoyed this video, please like it and share it with your friends. We look forward to hearing your thoughts in the comments section. Feel free to share your views, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more exciting stories. See you next time.